Hi everyone, and welcome to the review for Mystic Lake. This is the second book in the Mystic Trilogy. This is by Debbie Ihler Rasmussen. So yeah, there's really not a lot that I can say in this particular review because it will spoil certain things in the first one. All I can say is we're following more of Aspen as and her brother Noah, and their two friends Gavin and Kieran. So Aspen, one thing that you do learn, she has this ability where she can basically see ghosts, and you start to learn in this book there are other people in Aspen's life that have a similar ability, and so you do learn more about that. The first one, in the first book, Aspen and her brother Noah and then their mom and dad move from a town in California where they were by the coast. They could easily go to the beach and surf. And anyway, they moved from California to this town in Tennessee. You do learn in the first book, I will say this too, which is no big surprise, there is family history of... There are some things that are kind of questionable if they really happened. There's talk of the town of how bad Aspen's grandparents, great-grandparents were, and some say no, they were good, so that you do have some questions regarding that. You do get a few more answers in this book, but where it's a trilogy, I imagine we'll get many more answers in the third book. You learn more and see as Aspen starts to develop more of her supernatural ability or gift, and you see a lot more of the bond of family and the bond of friendship, what can make things rocky, what can help strengthen things, can things be repaired. So you do get a lot of that in this one. So again, the first one follows them as they move from California to Tennessee. They're in a new school, they're making friends, and they're learning more about certain supernatural abilities that Aspen has, and things like that. And they're trying to uncover some of their family history, is what their grandpa was actually involved in. Was he an evil man, or was he actually good? Who all was manipulated? They know that there's death. Who is responsible for the death of a bunch of these people, and things like that. So you're getting more answers in this. There are some things. This is a YA. There's one part in this where one character ends up in a coma, but the events leading up to that, it's kind of not all that realistic, but it's a fantasy, or not, well, fantasy paranormal. So it's like, even though certain things are not that believable, where it's a fictional world, pretty much anything can happen. But there's one part where this one character is dubbed kind of like a miracle. Someone's called a witch, and there is much more death in this one of some of the current characters, definitely. So you do get some of that. And there's where, I think, what is she in this one? Like 16 or 17 is the age of Aspen in this one. So she's just... and I think the first book took place over the summer, and now she's entering, I think, her junior year of school, and her brother's a year older than her. And so you do see a lot, you do see like kind of rumors start. You see that there are some adults that should be trustworthy that actually aren't, in this particular book. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much I can say without spoiling anything. It's good. I do recommend this. Just be aware there are grammatical issues with this one, less so than in the first book. The first book had much more grammatical editing issues, like whole paragraphs and sentences repeating, which you don't get in this one. You do get words repeating, but that are not necessary in those certain points. But I don't know, so that was kind of, could be a little, like, I'd have to stop and kind of reread something to make sure it was an issue and that I wasn't thinking something that wasn't true to the page. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I did give it 4 stars. I really don't know what else to say about this. I'm going to move us over here. I don't really know what else to really say about this without spoiling anything for the first book. All I can just continue to say is I really enjoyed this one. I do feel like it was a little too long. It could definitely have been, 50 to 75 pages shorter, but it was good, and I'm excited. I did go ahead and buy the 3rd book in this, so I can pick that up at any point that I feel ready for it. But yeah, so this was Mystic Lake. The first, what was the first? The next book is called Mystic Mansion. And I can't remember what the first one was called. Whatever it was called, it was good. So, but yeah, now the first one, the cover was more green. This is definitely a darker cover because it takes place at night. But there's a lot more surrounding the lake in this book. The lake is extremely important. It's kind of alluded to the importance in the first book, but it is very much a focal point of the plot in this book. So you do get, if you are doing some kind of a readathon and you've read the first book, and you want to read this, but you don't know how much of a prevalent, like if one of the prompts for the readathon is to read a book surrounding water or where it takes place a lot at water, this will definitely cover that because the lake is extremely prevalent in this. So yeah, so a lot of references to the Mystic Lake. Anyway, yeah, so that'll be it for this review. Let me know if you've read this series. Otherwise, just chat to me in the comments below. So that'll be it for this particular review. But until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.